we're going to dig in a little bit about fiduciary first. This will probably date me a little bit, and you probably know this. There used to be a drink called Dr. Pepper, and there was an ad called "He's a Pepper, She's a Pepper, We are a Pepper," whatever. Just everybody's a pepper.
Everybody's a pepper.
And fiduciary becomes everybody's a fiduciary, and it's somewhat meaningless when everybody says, I'm a fiduciary either on the SEC side or on the ERISA side, which we can dig deeper into it. But it's almost like you don't meet anybody who is not. But not everybody really practices in the strictest definition of what a fiduciary is. And it becomes very confusing. And such an important term got diluted so much that a little while people say, well, what difference does it make? Because I can't really tell what that really means. So maybe we should step back, instead of being Dr. Pepper, is to say, well, why is fiduciary rules so important under the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, also known as ERISA? Why is this an important position, you think, or envisioned from the way you interpret it?
Wow, so much in that thought, Philip. I'm not even sure where to begin. So I'll try to keep it really basic, because that's kind of how my brain works. As simple is effective. People are busy. And I've seen that consistent, whether they're the biggest companies, and I've worked for the biggest financial service organization, and there's a lot of busy people. And guess what's not on their mind every day? Retirement plan, how it works, the rules of the road, what's responsible, what's expected, what their role as a fiduciary is. Technology did a great thing with daily processing, and it made data, information accessible in a very timely basis. That was the big differentiation in the 80s and the 90s, was going to a daily platform as opposed to a monthly or quarterly processing system. That started, and then what was continued with automation through the internet and then smartphones has made it ever present. So the data element of this is really important. But the sponsor themselves, everybody's busy with their day job. Running the retirement plan is not it. Having professionals where that is our core competency and what we do is brings comfort, saves them time, and ultimately, as we've learned, and I think that's been, not to get off track, but one of the big outcomes of COVID is a lot of people realized the time they were spent commuting was not good use of time, and have voted with their feet to say, I'd rather work from home. I can do a really good job from here. Do you trust me or not? I think is another big element that will come into the retirement plan space as well. It already has. So wonderful. I think, people are busy. Time, money, self-interest. Plan sponsors don't wake up on a Thursday morning wanting to worry or think about the retirement plan. They want it. They want it to work well. They want it to be in the best interest of their employees. They want it at a reasonable price. And, they are happy to have professionals to be that steward for them. That's the big takeaway. They love our independence, and not to make this a commercial, but being an independent fiduciary is that, on the hook, literally, in that 5,500 that is always signature ready but isn't always signed and filed, is a little deal that's a big deal. So I think having that extra set of eyes and ears of someone who that is the thing they wake up in the morning thinking about, worrying about, is of great comfort to plan sponsors and advisors.
So it is plan sponsors' responsibility. They can farm it out to specialty.
Almost, like right? They still have fiduciary responsibility of that decision, but when asked, isn't that a nice answer to the quiz? So, Mr. Chao, how did you make these decisions? Well, I'm really busy. I knew enough to know that I don't know all this, so I hired these guys who, that's what they do, and they've been doing it for 80 years. That's a nice answer to when the auditors or whomever try to knock on their door.
Yeah, agreed.
In all market segments too. It's a misunderstanding. And it's not just small plans. This is true in all market segments.
And so at the end of the day, the responsibility of that individual or those individuals is to safeguard the money that belongs ultimately to participants, even though while they are still working and is in a trust, it's really belong to the plan, but the plan is serving solely for the benefit of the participants and beneficiaries. So,
unlike a defined benefit plan, which is the fiscal and financial responsibility and outcome of the company, the defined contribution plan is the participants' money. It's their plan. And it's a big differentiation I think is often misunderstood or overlooked in its importance.